All right, Bant Vannifar. For people not familiar with what that refers to, Vannifar refers to Prime Speaker Vannifar here in our decks. This is Pod Mom or Fairy Pod Mother, a creature that pays homage to the card Birthing Pod. As far as this specific configuration goes, I have two primary concerns. The first is that I'm not sure that this deck has the appropriate tools at the bottom end of its curve to beat the mono red deck. Part of the reason why the red deck is so good is because it's very efficient, and this deck's not playing anything like the Sloth or the Wild Growth Walker package to like buffer its health total. So like, while we have a variety of really powerful top end tools here, I'm not convinced looking at this that we're going to survive to get there against the burn decks. Another concern is that, like, when we get to this top end, like, is this top end good enough to grind against things like Grixis Control and Command the Dread Horde in these Jeskai Planeswalker decks? Yeah, in my, actually, you see, I have a Temur Vannifar deck here that is the version that you can find on my website right now, and that one actually plays Elves and Sloths in it, just because, like, having 8 mana creatures is fine when you have Vannifar to pod them away later. Sloth is much better than Elves against the red deck, but honestly, I kind of like playing both. We need Bugler. I'm not sure. Yeah, when we played Vannifar last season, Bugler felt really good as a way to add a lot of consistency. So this build is eschewing that card, so I'm not sure if that's a good decision or not. Any reason you're not using the fight cards in green? Are you referencing in the Elf deck, Dozer, or in the Vannifar deck? Seems pretty good. Turn one Llanowar Elves, always busted. The Elf deck doesn't consistently have large creatures with which to block. MTJ Avatar tier list one. This one's definitely my favorite. I bought this one and it's just permanently on. Love the glowing eyes. They're fantastic. Sip the Jack. Thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright. I think I just want to put some beef out here. Have a beefcake to block a beefcake. If they want to attack next turn, I'm happy to block and have them trade and have an empty board while I play Prime Speaker out. If I had to venture a guess, I would bet this matchup's probably pretty okay for us. Just because they don't have a ton of removal for our Prime Speaker, and our top end is better than the top end that they have access to on average, I think. There aren't any 6 drops in this deck, though, right? So I can't, there's no reason, there's nothing valuable to Vannifar-ing away this Roalesk. Yeah, actually on 0/6s. The old double mobilized district. Yikes. Said they didn't have a lot of removal, and my opponent's immediate yo, dog, let me show you how much removal I got. I've got all the Really? Do you have Lava Coil in the main? Why would you not Growl Spellbreaker or kill my Vannifar? That's real bold. I think I'm actually going to have this pump up the Vannifar so she's harder to kill for them. A lot of their kills revolve around fighting. Yeah, a lot of the modal cards are really sweet in Horizons. In addition to the obvious of the lands being great, the cards that like the new Kaya's Charm, whatever it's called, seems very reasonable. Yeah, I agree, dude. Light. Roalesk seems like a weird inclusion on a 5.
My wild beasts will bring your comeuppance.
Bring your comeuppance. Ah, that's aggressive. I guess they're not winning going long against Vannafear, huh?
We will rise again.
This game seems pretty over. We're at 13 and my opponent just has no clean answers to our stuff. Probably Knight, gain 4, grab a Cavalier next turn. Gonna take this hit for 4. Hinterland Harbor is no longer a great shame. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. That's for sure. Do 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 do. Ooh, hey diddle diddle. Kiora and the fiddle. Pod Mom jumped over the moon. Roalesk got Pod Mom swole. Oh, ha! Maybe I'm supposed to get Spark Double and copy Shalai there? That would be funny.
Just can't kill it. The ocean surges, life thrives.
So, one of the things you need to understand, Jeff, is that you don't always have Vannafear going, and when you have Vannafear going, you don't... There's multiple Roalesk in this deck. Why are there multiple Roalesk in this deck without a 6-drop? That's so weird. Like an incredibly strange inclusion. Oh, the Kiora gets a card draw. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't matter. We have an embarrassment of riches here. We can, like, have Twitch chat, choose game actions at random, and we're going to win this one. We'll play tighter in the next one. Yeah, we have a lot of 5s. And there's no Lyra, right? There wasn't a Lyra in that list of 5s. Yeah, Prime Speaker Vannafear is, like, in her Simic mush of a type line. She has... Oh, there's a Lyra in the board. Okay, we at least have a Lyra in the board, I guess. Is this a Baffling End matchup? Maybe. I guess Roalesk is a decent blocker for their flying stuff. So it's like worse than Lyra probably a lot of the time, but probably still okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a 6-drop that we want so much as we just, like, don't want this as a 5. Like, stopping at 5 doesn't seem unreasonable. I just feel like if we're stopping at 5, we probably don't want this here. Like, in Temur Vannafear, we get to play Ravager Worm as our 6-drop, which is very good. Feels very reasonable. Yeah, this card's probably less good post-Borgs to bring in more removal. Let's try this. And like I said, Temur Vannafear is definitely my personal preference for this archetype color combination. Rekindling Phoenix is really good. Like, Tolsimir wishes his wolf fought half as good as a worm. Is Unearth the most playable card to be spoiled? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The five Horizon lands are the most playable cards, right? They're incredibly good. are there even good Bant? Are there good Bant 6-drops? It's probably just Carnage Tyrant, right? I think Archmage's Charm and Kaya's Charm are both very reasonable Magic cards for what it's worth. Wow. Getting a Lava Coil burned on that is great for us. Kiora is also much better in the Teamer build of this archetype because we actually have creatures with 4 or more power in that archetype, and this build really does not. So do I play Shalai out as a distractor before this? Like, this aggressive Lava Coil here could mean that they have another one. So I think I'm going to lead on Shalai here. So that way, like, if they have a second Lava Coil, they need to cut through this, which gives me more likely that this is about to live. Azure as a 6-drop. Gosh, that's clunky. I feel like that's not good enough for, like, a 6-drop in the standard format. Kinda, like, so one of the things you need to do in a deck like this is, like, you want your average card to be good. So that way, like, you're not just drawing a bunch of stinkers when you don't have Vannafear going. Yeah, it's probably just Carnage Tyrant. Ooh, they have a Biogenic Ooze too. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna play this. What do I want to do here? I could pod this into Deputy, exile their token, and then pod Deputy into Spark Double for Shalai, which I think is reasonable.
And you look like lunch. Nature flows with vigor.
Spark Double is kind of sweet with Shalai. And it'll draw a card too, which is great. And you get hexproof, and you get hexproof. Everybody gets hexproof. And now we just have to not lose inside of combat, and active Vannifear going should make losing inside of combat pretty difficult. Alright, challenge. My opponent's like, tough to lose inside of combat, challenge accepted. Double ooze. Double ooze is a tall order to beat. Hoping to draw something that can get to Lyra. Ooh, that gets to Lyra, right? Oh, I could go get another Deputy, huh? Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Because the Deputy's hexproof, right? Oh, I should have floated mana. Forgot to float mana.
I love to make a splash.
Is there any Esper here in the queue? I'm not sure offhand. You can always find the deck queue live on my website here. It has all of the updates except for things that have been added exactly today, and Esper Hero definitely has not been added today. Yeah, land Star of Extinction is they're out here for sure. Definitely 10 out of 10 just dead to Star of Extinction.
Who are you to call me mad? Come to me!
Yeah, I agree. I probably should have attacked the previous turn. And I was just being overly conservative because I feel like I can't lose this game without making a mistake.
Let's get moving.
Wow, so unlucky, drew Fblthp.
I will consume. Listen to
Oh, I should have played the elf pre-combat right, because I'm going to activate Shalai. So, technically missed a counter on this elf. It doesn't matter. Again, we've hit the Twitch chat can take random game actions outside of conceding the match, and we're gonna win from here. Yeah, I think not having a Lyra in the main deck's a pretty big miss. Lyra plus Shalai steal a lot of random games. Shalai is legendary. We have Spark Double on one of them. To smoke or not to smoke? It is the age-old question. Oh. Can't even bonfire, yep. Nah, I don't think Dream Eater is good enough. Six drop that dies to Lightning Strike sounds like a bit of a Hoogland. It's gonna be a huge liability. Yeah, that's true too. The shuffling makes the scry less efficient. As Angel of Grace lost all of its love. There are so many good pieces of top end in Standard right now that just like there is a ton of competition for like that 5+ mana slot. He's so worried, chat. He's so worried. Doesn't know what's going on. Hey, Fuzzy Jello. Checking in for the 4th month. Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Run away! Run away! Fblthp's relatable. I've got no idea what's going on. I think a random 8/8 is probably much worse than just playing a Carnage Tyrant. I also, and again, this is something that I wanna stress, is that I don't think it's necessary to have a 6-drop. The only reason we're talking about 6 drops is because the Apex Predator encourages you to have a 6-drop, but you could just not play the Apex Predator and have other 5 drops. My opponent plays turn 1 elf. On the following turn, I have Butcher. Should I swing? That's like a contextual question. The answer is it depends. I want to get this. Just have pressure. Just have pressure through a sweeper. If they hit a removal spell for this, it's pretty bad though. Maybe I'm supposed to get the like the flyer draw card. Because like if they kill this and then bounce this, I'm like a little bit far behind. Yeah, I think white aggro is perfectly fine. In fact, you can find my preferred iteration of white splash blue aggro on my website. Click standard next to the top. I didn't play Tolsimir on the previous turn because I wanted to guaranteed get Neoform to resolve in a window where my opponent didn't have a counterspell up. Because if my opponent counterspells Neoform, I still lose the creature that I chose to sacrifice, which is a pretty big punch.
Might be a bad idea.
Yeah, I definitely think I should have grabbed the 2/3 that drew a card there, though. Kiora with Conclave Cavalier in hand is not a bad pickup, though.
It was meant to happen.
Krakens, leviathans, octopuses, serpents. I love them all.
Probably in a position where I'm just, like, not playing more creatures out until they sweep the board. It's like I have 10 power in play.
Trust me. You'll thank me later.
Alright, bye-bye Wolfie.
Don't worry. I got this.
Now I'm probably going to play Shalai out. Because this makes them play removal spells before I declare attackers. So unless they have double removal. They're at 5 cards in their graveyard, so with the removal spell here, my opponent gets to flip Search for Azcanta next turn, which kind of puts me against the clock, huh? I think I'm just on a can't beat a sweeper plan at this point. And like again, part of the problem is here, I don't really have a resilient threat to go get like for Kindling Phoenix that's like good against their sweeper. And they kept a card on top here, so I assume I'm getting Kaya's Wrath. Impulse for Kaya's Wrath, sure.
There are so many mysteries to uncover with thoughtfulness before action.
If we were in red, we'd have a Ravager Worm to go get to kill this Azcanta as well here. Well, if that's the best one we could get, probably was pretty bad, because they can't cast that at the moment with Shalai in play. They have a Mortify here, they can, like, Mortify Shalai and then Thought Erasure me. Alright, so what do I want to do here? So I get 2 pod activations if I want. I think this is killing Narset and this is attacking them.
This was overwhelming.
Hey, Tower Knight, thanks for the support, I appreciate it. They're pretty likely to Kaya's Wrath me next turn. They get 2 Azcanta activations out of it. So I think my line here, yeah, I think that's it. I think it's get another Cavalier. Because Cavalier is going to draw me a card with the Kiora. And it's going to leave behind extra bodies. So I'll hold on to this for now. Hey, thanks for the tip, I appreciate it.
One drop ripples and grows.
So I attacked Narset with Conclave Cavalier because Conclave Cavalier was less likely to die. So you're right that overall I missed a point of damage there. But at the same time, I left myself in a better spot if they had a removal spell, because taking Narset off the table is very important. Please put this towards Ral Meadkim. Narset's a huge pain, but maybe that can still win a few. Sounds good, Phil. I might go up Lightning Strikes tomorrow in the Ral Memekin deck when we play it. Because Lightning Strike does finish her nicely. Yeah, if you're in the subs Discord, you should be able to DM me. Because we share a server. Wow, they're thought erasuring me instead of activating Ascant to this turn. That seems really loose. Like, what could you possibly be worried about this in my hand? Hey, Yaku, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Like, what do I even want to get at this point? Like, it feels so weird to me that, like, I'm in a position where, like, I'm not sure that I actually want to activate my Vannafear, which feels strange. Like, I have this Vannafear, and there's, like, nothing meaningful to go get, right? I think it's worth playing this out, because it's better against spot removal. Like, they obviously haven't had the sweeper. If they hit the sweeper now, I get 8 power left over from these, which is nice. So it's no Rekindling Phoenix, but it'll do for now. So, like, even if they Azcanta into Akaya's Wrath here, they're still just dead on board. Yeah, they needed that a turn sooner. Yeah, triggers. Is this good? How do you feel about this? And then there's the question of, like, how many counter spells do I even want post board in this matchup, because they're on Teferi. Maybe I want to leave some Roalesk here in my top end. I feel like I might want to trim Kiora here. Getting multiple... Like, this card just isn't individually powerful in this deck because we don't have enough 4-power creatures to really leverage the card draw with it. Tristani because of Thief or Hostage Shaker? Yeah, that's probably okay to leave in. I agree with that. Let's do this. Maybe, actually, I should probably go up on Kraul Harpooners because it's quick early pressure. It's just like a 3-2 for 2 mana, and it hedges Thief of Sanity. So yeah, if we get a game 3, especially if we see Thief, I'm going to bring more Kraul Harpooners in. Doesn't have any white mana in it, but like it's got Elf and Prime Speaker and 3 lands. Yikes! That's like the Stone Cold Worst draw. You're like, well, I'm okay if I just draw some white source. So you like draw lands that like aren't the color you need. Double Elf is nice against this.
I'll protect you.
I think if I wanted a card to give Prime Speaker Vannafear haste, I would prefer to play the card, the 4 mana, what's it called? I prefer to play 4 mana, Domri. Alright, so we're getting Kaya's Wrath, and I can't counterspell it even if I shocked this in because they have Fblthp in play. Only 18 more months with this one, right? Got it. 18 more months. Hey, Red Mage, thank you for the very generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate that. I hope life is treating you well, even if work is busy.
I've got time.
Let's enter the God-Eternals. Yikes. Teferi laughs in Modern. Will do, Red Mage. I appreciate it. We'll probably be sneaking in some more Red-Black Aristocrats once the season rolls over. So I'm going to be practicing and tuning that for the tournament weekend that I'm playing in June. You're not wrong. If you make me choose between the vomit that is Wilderness Reclamation and, like, the really bad-smelling turd left in the toilet that is 3-mana Teferi, I'll definitely take the turd in the toilet that's 3-mana Teferi as opposed to the vomit that is Wilderness Reclamation. Everybody drops back down approximately 2 ranks, so people who are Mythic drop back down to Platinum 4. Yeah, I think Bantu's better, and I think Bantu is better, and I think the changes I made are better. Like, I spent time playing the deck, and I think they are the better cards to be playing. I think Bantu's a card that helps you not flood out, that also has a bigger body. It's not flying, but it's evasive in a different way, and it also plays defense much better against the red aggro decks. Grim Innate was okay, but I like that Diagonal Goblin allows you to... I like that Diagonal Goblin allows us to cleanly interact with the opponent a little bit more, which is nice. Alright, I get to hold up Dovin's Veto here, which sounds good. I feel like comparing 3-mana Teferi to Blood Moon does an incredible disservice to every person in the world who's ever been Blood Mooned. Those things aren't even remotely close to the same. Yeah, Diagonal Goblin plus Mayhem Devil, like, gives you a Forked Bolt, which is awesome. Wow, was that the worst 3-mana Teferi that's ever been cast? Just like Game 5? Yeah, you can't, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, like, this card's annoying, but, like, Planeswalkers are infinitely more interactable than enchantments or artifacts could ever dream of, just because you can interact with them via the combat step. This is why I didn't play out any creatures here. You ooze, you lose. For the newer Magic players in the audience who haven't played Modern or Legacy before, the card Blood Moon turns all non-basic lands in play into mountains. So it basically means decks that play more than one color effectively just don't play Magic. It's really miserable. Yikes. Okay, just do this and this. Yeah, exactly. In fact, 3-mana Teferi is one of the reasons why I like why red aggro is good and why I like the Black-Red Aristocrats deck. Like, having efficient 1-mana creatures is really important in a world where Teferi is good. So, will we see them tempo this or kill the Ooze token? You know, the fact that I saw this enter the God-Eternals, that might mean I should leave Deputy of Detention in my deck as a one-of so I can kill this token.
Trust me, I have a plan.
I have a plan. MagicEsports.net is my URL. Oh, we're draw step thought of reassuring me, sure. Nope, that's not the draw step opponent. Close, close. Probably was going to want to take that anyways, so it's probably not that big of a miss for them, but definitely a small mistake here. They left the card on top. That doesn't bode well for me. Alright, 1 Fblthp, please. I'm gonna get Kaya's Wrath next turn and cry myself to sleep, but I think we're just in a position where I just can't play around a third Kaya's Wrath. Yeah, if we could clone their Planeswalker and bounce this 4/4 would be in an absurd spot, but unfortunately that is not how Spark Double works.
No, I am not making this.
All right, well that's a good start. Means we're not getting swept this turn unless they draw it off this draw. If I had a Deputy in my deck, I'd be in a decent spot here because I could Prime Speaker this into Deputy. Alright, got a couple of 4-power things.
That's more like it.
So do I want to just do this right away? Probably want to attack first. This block is good for me. It means I get to keep a creature. So that's a pretty big misstep on the opponent's part there. Not killing my card that has converted mana cost. So we're not committing another creature to this board until it gets swept, so. You have your third Kaya's Wrath and 19 cards. Please no. Please no. Correct, yeah, we're done casting spells. We're activating Biogenic Ooze and Prime Speaker and just going to town. Just taking them to Pound Town. Maybe I'm supposed to get Shalai there. I could see getting Shalai there being correct. Vannifear is a big gal. Alright, Fade Wrath for one more turn here. We can dodge a Wrath, we can dodge a ball, chat. Survey says... Three Wraths and 20 cards. It's just the long take. I mean, I did show them counter spells this game, so like they could have been afraid of another counter spell, but like they don't have a choice. They're super dead. And again, just like going back to the ups and downs of Bant versus Temur, if I was Temur, I would have been potting into a bunch of Rekindling Phoenixes there, and then my opponent would be very dead. Whereas now, they have more play because my deck's less aggressive, and I don't have things like Rekindling Phoenix to lean on.
I can no longer stand by and walk. Keep up the pace.
Oketra's not resilient. Oketra is not card advantage. That's a big thing I hear players constantly misconstrue about the God-Eternals. The God-Eternals are not card advantage. They get 1-for-1, and then you get buried. We're very dead here. Just how it goes. We would be exactly the same in terms of how worse off we were there if we'd have gotten God-Eternal. Kefnin is only card advantage if you manage to trigger his ability. All of the God-Eternals, when they get 1-for-1 by removal, they're still getting 1-for-1. I know it feels good to tuck your God back into your deck, but you still have to redraw that card. You're still spending a resource, ultimately. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, sometimes you just die. It's definitely the case of Magic the Gathering, right? Like, again, I think it's worth discussing, like, the possibilities of, like, what happens in those games if I'm playing a different configuration than what I'm playing now. I mean, Bantu technically isn't card advantage either. He's a conversion of resources, so, like, he ends up turning cards that are otherwise not very useful into something that are useful, but he's still a 1-for-1 conversion, essentially. Yeah, the God-Eternals increase your card quality. What they don't do is they don't increase you in terms of card advantage. I think I'm just getting Cavalier here. Getting Biogenic Ooze, go wide. Because both of these have 3 power, right? I guess I could get Roalesk. Nah, let's just start building this up. Definitely need to try and pressure their health total to make their Command the Dread Hordes worse. Correct, Davis. The various God-Eternals like Oketra and Kefnin, they can generate card advantage with their other text box. The part that I'm focusing on that, again, I feel like a lot of people don't understand or like fail to identify is when they get killed by removal. Removal immediately getting rid of your God-Eternal means you are getting 1-for-1. You're not ahead on cards in that situation. Alright, dear opponent, please don't massacre Girl May. Alright, trade your board or lose your Planeswalker. Dealer's choice. There's still 2 lands off of a Dread Horde here, which is notable. Not surprised to see a trade-off here. They want to activate their Kazminia again. With these blocks... With those blocks, Massacre Girl doesn't actually kill me, right?
Spark will be mine. Inconceivable.
My students are loyal geniuses.
Is it crazy to just ignore this and smack them? I guess if I get Deputy. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna do this. And then I'm gonna do this.
I hope you don't mind if I take my off. The ocean surges, life thrives.
Feels like we're pretty far ahead here at the moment.
Another time, Planeswalker.
Okay, we'll just get on the board and run them down. Feels good, man. Alright, so... Knight of Autumn doesn't really... They don't have any artifacts or enchantments in their deck. This is good in case they take my stuff. Tolsimir is probably too small to fight a lot of their things. I guess this is probably a veto matchup to, like, try and counter their Command the Dread Hordes. Probably what I want to be doing. Kraul Harpooner doesn't really have text. With flyers, this seems fine. Maybe Baffling End is good for taking their Wild Growth Walkers off the table. If they gain a lot of life with their Wild Growth Walkers, I'm going to have a hard time pressuring them out of the game. One thing to, like, note / think about is that I don't think I've ever Vannafeared for the Elite Guardmage. I, like, keep getting Conclave Cavalier. And maybe that's because we haven't, like, played against a super aggressive deck yet. If played against Mono Red, we'd probably be digging for the Elite Guard more often. I'm playing red-green, but I feel like I'm always losing the Dreadhorde deck. Do you have any tips to improve my chances? Should I ignore the Planeswalkers and go to the face, for instance? That kind of stuff tends to be situational. Tibalt and Lava Coil are your, along with Lightning Strike, are your best tools for those matchups. Generally speaking, applying pressure to their health total is good because that minimizes their ability to utilize their key card. The more you pressure their life total, the less they can Dreadhorde back into play. It's an okay draw, even if on turn 2. Is Veto better than Stroke here? That's a good question. They missed a land drop. Alright. You might be right. Stroke's probably better than Veto because of Massacre Girl. Everything I could possibly want to counter with with Veto also gets stroked. I think that's a good suggestion. Didn't matter. My opponent played Magic and lost. All right, scoreboard 2-1. Let's do it. On to the next one. Easy game, easy life. Deck's perfect, we're perfect, played perfect. This card is so much better than Incubation Druid, it's not funny. Just like, the fact that this card can make mana that your lands can't is such a big deal. Yeah, maybe my last opponent was from Russia, because Magic clearly played them. Yeah, veto. I'm like trying to think like what does that shock mean, right? Is it like syncopate? Like if it's veto, this could be a deafening Clarion matchup if they're playing just Skywalkers. It could be a missed land drops matchup. Whoa. Oh, I'm dumb. I was thinking I wanted to attack with this, but this is my only white mana. So I missed a point of damage there because I'm dumb. We even talked about Paradise Druid making white mana. It's not a good scene. I'm trimming this against a deck that likely has counter spells in it. Vivian's probably fine for some card advantage. I think this is a mulligan. We're playing Bant Gates with a bunch of tapped lands here. I don't have any turn 1 or turn 2 plays. I think Neoform's a little bit mediocre. It's definitely bad against decks full of counter spells. Because if they counter your Neoform, you still lose the creature you sacrificed. It's an additional cost, which is a big deal. Unlike in Modern, where like you're Neoforming into things that often win the game on the spot or the following turn, like Neoforming into something that's just like a value creature often isn't worth the 2 cards you spent on it. Two good draws in a row here. 5 Felicia. Yeah, that one's great. So we're playing against Esper again here. That explains their missed land drops last game. Hey, Zeph, thanks for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting me on this month with that. You're having a fantastic Tuesday wherever you're at. So, I see the card advantage discussion that's kind of going back and forth in chat right now, and I think the one thing one or both sides might be missing, just like skimming the discussion that's going on, is that I think you're trying to ultimately label something as always card advantage or never card advantage, when the reality of the situation is that like something like a 4/4 is situationally card advantage. Like in some matchups, a 4/4 is worth an entire card. And in other matchups, it's just really not, right? And that's an important distinction. Like many things in Magic, the answer is like, well, it kind of depends on like the other details. Hey, awesome. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff, Zep. It's a good comment for people in general. If you're someone that's new to my stuff and you've mostly been watching on Twitch, everything I stream gets cut up and archived on my YouTube channel, and I break it all up by deck, so it's very easy to search for just the content you want to see if you miss a day. Stupid Bant Gates deck. This Teferi's gonna kill us very quickly. And by kill us, I mean bury us in unsurmountable card advantage.
We need to move quickly.
Shut up, Teferi. You don't do anything quickly. We don't believe you. Nobody believes you, Teferi. You're a monster who does everything slowly. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Phase you out of time.
Just moment of craving. I mean, it's basically like cycling their moment of craving, right? Because it keeps Teferi alive for another turn to draw another card. The fact that we've got Cavalier down now, though, means that even if they hit the Kaya's Wrath, we're still gonna have pressure around it, pressure the Teferi, which is nice. We shocked in Godless Shrine. Why would we shock in Godless Shrine? Oh, we're casting Double Cry? Holy crap. Don't you dare cast Moment of Craving. Don't you dare cast Moment of Craving. Ugh. Ugh. Oh no. Oh no. Ugh. Oh, my card advantage. It was supposed to be card advantage, chat. I was supposed to be advantaged. Oh, that's so rough. Alright, putting Teferi under the Deputy could go horribly wrong. Probably gonna go horribly wrong.
I am just the trick for this.
Alright. On to the next one. Yeah, it was like a 3 for 3, but like, I was expecting the cards that I had there to be worth more than they ended up being, which is a tough nut. You're supposed to mute the vomit sound. Sorry. We'll work on that for next time. I'll throw up in private in future for future reference. That 7 pretty foils all in a row. Let's go. We do actually have Planeswalkers, though, Dozer. We have 2 copies of Kiora. Or 3 copies of Kiora in the main deck. No, I don't think so, Shame Spiral. You don't even play maximum copies of Quarter Calling or Eldritch Revolution. I think both those cards are better. Yes, we are playing off ladder to preserve rank. In fact, I believe after my run off stream last night, I should be locked for top 1000 for the season. I think I'm top 200 right now, and there's only like 2.5 days left or something. Thirsty Kane coming in hot with the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Prison Realm. Where's a Knight of Autumn when you need one, huh? So, we're dead. Hey, Thirsty King. Welcome back. Yeah, exactly. And if I lock the top 1000 spot this month, I just get to play on the ladder the entire next month and not worry about it. Currently 450. What are the odds I'm okay without having to play more? I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable personally at 450, but it might be fine. The tough thing is, it's not the same from season to season. Every season's going to be different depending on how many people are playing. I think we're done at this point. I didn't bring in my Kraul Harpooners this game. The other thing you have to remember is that the higher up you get on the ladder, the less likely it is that people will pass you because it's more work that they have to do. So like right now I am I'm 176. And last night, what did I think I posted a picture. Last night I was 158 last night. So at 10:30 yesterday evening, I was rank 158. All right. Anywho, as far as this Bant Vannifar deck is concerned, I kind of felt like we didn't really leverage the white cards really efficiently. I think I definitely prefer the Militia Bugler build that we played a couple of seasons ago. The other thing that really stuck out to me is that the Bant configuration of this archetype is really bad at leveraging Kiora. Like, we just don't have enough meaningful cards with 4+ power to draw cards with this. Consistently. My preferred Vannifar deck, for comparison's sake, this is the Temur Vannifar build deck that you can find on my website. This build only has 2 Kioras in it, and it has way more creatures that can trigger the Kiora tech successfully. Yep, yeah, the list that I played to top 200 is the one's up on my website currently with 4 Ricks Matty Reveler. So if you are looking to Vannafear people in Standard, I think this would be my preference. Like that last build, we died to Esper Control twice, and like having tools like Rekindling Phoenix and Ravager Worm go a long way to making that matchup much better. Even Scrag and Hellkite just being a really aggressive threat is much better against Esper. All right, we are going to likely, I don't know, it's only 1 o'clock.